Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and enjoy this fanfic part 1. Now let's start the fanfic. He loves me, I know that he does. The platinum blonde thought to herself. Ino stared at the back of her husband's head. She was starting to become used to this sort of behavior. They had been married for about 2.5 years now. Ino was starting to wonder if maybe the passion was starting to die out. She remembered her mother saying that sometimes in marriage things can get a little stale. You have to keep things interesting, dear. Her mother's voice replayed in her mind. She shuddered at the many conversations she and her mother had before she officially became Mrs. Uzumaki. Flashback. So Ino honey, you'll be married in a few months. Are you nervous? No way, mom. Naruto and I have been together for 3 years. We're good. She nodded in enthusiasm. Mrs. Yamanaka took a sip of her tea. Well, I'm glad to see that you're happy. But you know marriage isn't easy. Yeah, I know that marriage is a lot of hard work, but Naruto and we can handle this. Yes, you both are very determined individuals. I'm sure that you will do your best. I don't want to scare you, dear, so I will tell you that marriage can be plenty of fun. Ino noticed the mischievous look in her mother's blue orbs. Mother, she shouted. Mrs. Yamanaka chuckled. I was just saying, dear, that there's nothing wrong with having an active, fun life. I'm sure that you and Naruto are covered in that area. The younger Yamanaka blushed furiously as she realized her mother was referring to the time where she had almost caught the couple in a heated, intimate moment. That would have been completely embarrassing even for Ino, someone who was not shy at all. With that being said, if things get a little stale, just keep things fun. Mom, I'm not even married yet and you're already treating me like an old married woman. Speaking of which, when do you and Naruto plan on giving me some grandchildren? Ino hastily spit out her tea at her mother's question. Mother, please, she yelled. Ino sighed as she inched closer to Naruto. She wrapped her arms around his shoulders. Naruto-kun, she whispered in his ear. Yeah, Ino-chan. Naruto, I miss you and I'm bored. I want you to entertain me, baby. Her voice held a seductive tone. The blonde male let out an exhausted yawn. He moved over slightly. Ino-chan, I'm tired. Alright, we just got back from an A-rank mission. Not tonight, okay. He yawned again. Ino pouted. She understood that he was exhausted. But she wanted some alone time with her husband. You know you've been tired a lot lately. Are you really exhausted? She started running her fingers up and down his arm. Or is it possible that you just don't want me? Naruto opened his eyes and turned to look at his wife. There was a far-off expression on her face. Ino, he started. No, I understand. You're too tired to make love to me. It's fine, I understand. The beautiful blonde got up from bed, placing a robe over her semi-form. Naruto raised an eyebrow to her. He was more than used to this sort of behavior. She would give him the silent treatment. He would eventually sweet-talk his way back into her good graces, and then they would really make up by having wild, passionate. Alright, Ino-chan, how long will you give me the silent treatment? 2, 3 days, or are you going to top your last record of a week straight? He teased her. She turned to him, throwing her pillow at his head. Jerk. She muttered. What, it's true, you know that. I'm going to sleep in the guest room since my husband doesn't want my company tonight. She stormed off in a hurry. Oh, come on, Ino-chan, don't be. He was stopped as he heard the door slam shut. He sighed, placing his pillow over his head. He disliked arguing with Ino. Luckily for him, this wasn't their most heated argument. Naruto figured that it was because they were both such passionate individuals. I'll give her a minute to cool down before I check up on her. He decided. Ino plopped down on the bed. She was more than just a little frustrated with him. She only wanted to be able to spend quality time with him. She remembered how much fun they used to have before they were married. Even in the early days of their marriage they had fun. Nowadays Ino was feeling rather undesirable. She knew that he loved her, that she was sure of. Was it possible that maybe Naruto had fallen out of love with her? The passionate side of their marriage was definitely starting to dwindle a bit. The sad part is we're only 24, we should be eating like rabbits still. She thought very bluntly. Ino couldn't help the fact that she wanted to be made love to by her husband. It had been about a month now, and in honesty it was driving her crazy. She was even starting to wonder if he was avoiding her. And then there was her worst fear of all. Had he found another woman? Was that it? No, he wouldn't. I doubt that he's being unfaithful to me. So just what was going on in that spiky blonde head of his? There was many times where Ino wanted to go invade his mind to find out what he was thinking. Sometimes I want to shout, Shintenshin no Jutsu, over and over again until I find out the truth. No matter how much she had wanted to do that, she had always decided against it. For some reason her conscience had always won out in the end. Ino was brought out of her thoughts when she heard a knock at the door. Go away, Naruto, I want to be alone right now. Sorry, but I'm coming in. The shirtless male entered the room, causing Ino to look up at him. She frowned. That's a very dirty trick, you jerk. Coming in here shirtless so that my mind could be so hazy that I forget why I'm mad at you. Hey. He laughed. I'm sorry, Ino-chan. He then lay down besides her, placing his arms around her waist. Seriously though, how long are you going to be mad at me this time? For as long as I want to be. She answered. Okay, babe. He kissed her cheek. You'll cool off, I guess. Are you coming to bed with me or not? No, I think that I'm going to stay here. She was expecting Naruto to say something else. She wanted him to persuade her to come back to bed. Instead, all she heard was the sound of him leaving. She gazed at him with wide eyes. That's it, you're just going to leave without even trying to get me to come back to bed? Nope. He shot her his familiar foxy grin. What? Why the hell not? Come on, Ino-chan, it's the same thing every time. You get a little pissed at me, ignore me, and then we eventually hit the sheets. She crossed her arms, turning her attention elsewhere, avoiding his gaze. She knew that he had a point. It was really actually routine for them. I didn't want that to happen this time. I don't want to always feel like we have to solve our problems by having makeup. Ino, what's wrong with you lately? You haven't been acting like yourself. Huh, I'm fine. No. He sat down next to her, putting his hand to her arm. Something's different. She agreed with him that things didn't feel like they used to. Ino leaned into her husband's chest, closing her eyes. Naruto, what's happening to us? She wondered. Naruto. The platinum blonde moaned. The whisker-faced man captured her lips in a soft, warm, passionate kiss, cupping her face with his hands. He stared down at her. I love you, Ino-chan. He whispered as his hands traveled down to her top. He unbuttoned her blouse, taking it off and throwing it to the floor with his shirt. Naruto-kun, you're so forceful tonight. I like it. I'll do anything for you, Ino. He leaned down, placing soft kisses on her neck. He knew that she had always enjoyed when he kissed her there. The softer the kiss, the better she felt. She wrapped her arms around his neck, pulling him closer to her. He suddenly stopped kissing her neck, turning his attention to her purple bra. He smiled lustfully. That particular item was definitely in his way. This is in the way, let's get rid of it. Are you going to talk about it all day, or are you going to take it off? She wondered. Naruto did as she said, releasing her from their shielded prison. He wasted no time in lowering his mouth to her perky, round S. He sent her a smile before lowering his mouth to her right nipple. He licked an ed almost hungrily, as if he had been starving for days. He used his other hand to massage her left S, running his fingers in smooth circular motions. God, yes, Naruto, I have missed this. He only nodded knowingly as he continued to show her the pleasure that she had been without for a month. Once her nipples were hard and erected, he took a moment just teasing them with his tongue and fingers. Each of his licks causing her to moan. Nah, Naruto. Hi, Ino-chan. He knew that his light form of teasing was getting to her. Stop. Stop, you know what happens to me when you do that. He lifted his face up and stared into her eyes. Oh yeah, I know. Now it's time that I really sent you over the edge, huh, Ino-chan. He smiled lustfully as he gently spread her legs apart. No, you don't. She laughed. Don't you da. She was cut off as she felt him spread her folds apart with his tongue. Ino let out a surprised moan. She wasn't expecting this from him tonight. It was an exhilarating feeling. Naruto. He slid his tongue in and out of her in slow sensual motions. Hearing each moan and whimper made Naruto aware that he was pleasing her. He smirked. He knew that this would work on her. Ino-chan's body really likes it when I do this. He placed his hands onto her thighs, twirling his tongue around, only going deeper and deeper, trying to hit her core. Naruto, what are you? Oh, Kami. She shouted. I promise to never ignore you again, Ino-chan. The platinum blonde awoke from her dream, hitting the floor hard. Damn, it was only a dream. Ino-chan, are you alright? I heard a crash. He asked as he entered the guest room. Naruto smiled as he saw his wife wrapped up in the covers on the floor. Hey, what are you doing on the floor? Let me help you up, okay? A pair of strong arms wrapped around her, picking her up in one scoop. He set her down on the bed, pushing her blonde locks out of her face. But something else had caught his attention. He could see her erect nipples poking through her nightgown. Oh, naughty Ino-chan, what were you dreaming about? Or rather, what have you been doing while I was in the shower? He teased. Ino resisted the urge to beat him senseless. Well, I just might have to take care of myself since you want. She thought. If you must know, yes, I was having a dream. Yeah, and I bet I know what you were dreaming about. My idiotic husband. She smirked as she pulled him into a kiss. He soon relaxed into the warm, inviting kiss. Before long, the couple broke away. Come on, Ino-chan, let's go eat. I made breakfast. You cooked. Oh, damn it, our kitchen could be on fire right now. She quickly got out of bed, running to the kitchen. To her surprise and relief, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Then again, knowing Naruto, he might have already hid the evidence. It doesn't look like you destroyed anything. Ah, come on, Ino-chan, have some faith in me. The blonde male poured some tea for the both of them. All right, she sighed. So what did you make for breakfast? I'm starving. He put a plate of pancakes, eggs and bacon in front of her. I wanted to try something different. So I asked your mother a while back to teach me how to cook a few things. Ino looked up at him in a damn surprised manner. You really did that for me? Yeah, of course I did, marry you after all, right? He joked as he kissed her forehead. No, but seriously, I figured that you were still mad at me for last night, so I made breakfast. Thanks, that was really sweet of you. He only nodded as he drank some of his tea. Ino and Naruto ate in silence from then on out. It was the awkward sort of silence where it felt like neither party knew what to say to one another. Naruto, babe. She finally spoke. Yeah, Ino-koi. Do you think that maybe I don't know. Do you feel that things aren't quite the same between us? The taller blonde blinked in confusion at her words as he tried to understand her point. Ino-chan, is this because we didn't have last night? He asked in a low whisper. Ino sighed heavily, hitting her head on the table. It has something to do with that, yes, but lately I don't know, it just doesn't feel like we're on the same page. I can't really explain it. She started to stir the eggs around on her plate, avoiding his gaze. Naruto scrunched up his face, his eyebrows knotted together as he stared in her direction. So this is because we didn't have wild, hot makeup last night? He whispered again. She looked up, throwing her fork at him. He dodged it and the utensil hit the floor hard. Nope, nothing's changed, you're still as feisty as ever, Ino-chan. She turned her head to the side, hair flowing with her. He smiled at this. And you're still hot as hell when you're angry. Shut up. She snapped. I know how hot I am, damn it. The question is, are you aware of it? He didn't respond at first. He could see that this conversation was probably headed for another argument. Hi, Ino-chan, I am aware of how gorgeous, hot, and crazy why you are. In fact, the truth is your beauty blinds me. He laughed as he took out a pair of shades, placing them on. What the hell? You sarcastic bastard. She put her hands on the table, throwing it up in the air, causing the startled blonde to fall out of his chair. Damn, what the hell, I was just kidding, you're right, things are different. You are so damn moody lately. Naruto paused as he realized what he had just said. Ino only had flames in her eyes. She looked like she wanted to bury him then and there. If looks could kill, he would have been 6 feet under by now. She's moody, oh goddamn. He thought. Ino-chan, you aren't like pregnant or something, are you? Silence filled the air as Ino gazed down at her husband. You think that I'm what? She shouted. Well, are you? You're acting so moody. I didn't think that it could get this bad. The platinum blonde held her mouth open in shock. There was no little Uzumaki in the oven at this moment. Naruto-hun, I hate to break it to you, but it takes a certain type of action for me to be pregnant. So, Naruto stood up. So then you are pregnant. Oh Kami, he started to panic. I was just wondering, now you're really pregnant. I can't believe this. Naruto, I'm going to be a father. We'll have a little hellion running around. Naruto, she yelled, trying to get his attention. She reached over, putting her hands to his shoulders. Naruto, I'm not pregnant. He calmed down drastically when she told him this. Are you sure? Yes, Naruto, we haven't been sleeping together. I'm definitely not pregnant. Wait a minute, it's only been a month since we had. And I remember someone moaning. Oh god, yes, Naruto. Right there, that's the spot. Right before she had an orgasm, he teased. He even tried to imitate her voice, which made it even more embarrassing. Ino blushed furiously as she remembered that night. I do not sound like that, although that was one hell of a night. She grinned. But we were careful. Things do happen. He reminded her. Alright then, why don't you run out and get me a pregnancy test if it will make you feel better? Okay. Ino could feel the headache coming on. This was turning out to be one hell of a day. I need a drink, this is too stressful. No way, you can't have this. He pulled the sake bottle away from his wife. It's bad for the baby. There is no baby. And if I were pregnant, I definitely wouldn't be drinking right now. She wouldn't risk the life of their child. But Naruto just wasn't getting what she was saying to him. Good, that's good. Don't touch that drink until I get back with that pregnancy test. Fine. She agreed. Ino decided that she would not argue with him. If he wanted to waste his time with a pregnancy test, she wasn't going to stop him. I'll be back. And just like that, he was out of the door. There's no point in arguing with him. She thought as she took a sip of tea instead of the sake she really wanted. Naruto could be very persistent. It was one of the many things that the two blondes had in common. If Naruto didn't want her to have that drink, then so be it. Damn him, now I can't even have a drink because he's running around in a panic about a baby that doesn't even exist. It was then that Ino began to wonder if Naruto wanted children. They were still in the early stages of their marriage, so they didn't have a chance to talk about children. I wonder if he wants a baby. Is that why he was in such a panic about all of this? Ino took another sip of her tea before heading back into their bedroom. Oh well, I guess I better wait for him to come back then. Meanwhile, a very anxious Naruto stood in the store rummaging through the home pregnancy tests. Damn, there are so many different ones. Which one should I get? Sir, do you need some help? A female worker asked. No, it's all good. I'll just take one of each. He answered as he scooped up a bunch of boxes in his hand. The young woman shrugged her shoulders at the blonde's awkward behavior. First-time fathers, I guess. She thought. As he was paying for everything, someone had called out to him. Naruto-kun, what brings you out here? Mrs. Yamanaka spoke as she came over to her son-in-law. Hi Mrs. Yamanaka, he said politely. Come now Naruto, you've been my son-in-law for 2 years now. She paused as she saw the many boxes of pregnancy tests. A huge smile spread across her face. Oh, are you and Ino-chan finally going to give me some grandchildren? We don't know yet. I'm just making sure. I see, but Naruto, don't you think that you have too many? Well, it's better to be sure, right? He smiled for his mother-in-law. Yes, I suppose you're right. Now let's hurry to Ino-chan and make sure that there's a bun in the oven. The older blonde woman said as she pulled her startled son-in-law along. But, no buts, this is important. Yes ma'am, he sighed. Ino-chan is going to be so pissed. The blonde female in question had fallen asleep due to boredom. Ino's dream. The blue-eyed girl found herself sitting in front of a doctor. Naruto was by her side holding her hand. He didn't believe her when she told him that she wasn't pregnant. Naruto, this is a waste of time. Ino-chan, we have to be sure. I'm telling you that I'm not pregnant. There isn't a little Uzumaki swimming around in here. Well, actually, Mrs. Uzumaki, there isn't a little Uzumaki floating around in there. The doctor started. See. Ino smiled. I told you. The truth is that there are two little Uzumakis. You're having twins, congratulations. Ino looked as if the life had been drained from her face. Had she heard correctly? What, you can't be serious? I am serious, you're having twins. Naruto smiled, hugging his wife. Wow, Ino-chan, this is great news, isn't it? Not only one but two. Wow. He repeated. She grabbed him, shaking him furiously. You idiot, this is all your fault. Crash. Ino hit the floor again, awakening from her latest dream. She rubbed her head from the pain. I really have to stop falling out of bed. When she heard the front door open, she went to go greet Naruto. To her surprise, she found not only her husband but her mother as well. Naruto, Mom, what's going on? Ino, honey, I heard the good news. Well, we'll find out soon enough, won't we? Hi. Naruto agreed. Here, Ino-chan, I bought a whole bunch of pregnancy tests for you. So now we can really be sure. He handed her the bag. She looked to see about 10 home pregnancy tests. 10. Naruto, don't you think that you went a little far? And Mom, you don't have to be here for this. Mrs. Yamanaka sat down at the kitchen table. She made it very clear that she wasn't going anywhere. No way, dear, I want to know the results, so get to it. Ino sighed and took 4 of the 10 boxes with her. Naruto, hun, may I see you in private, please? Naruto knew that tone of voice all too well. She was pissed off and he was going to get it with both barrels. He really didn't like to piss her off too often. I'm coming, Ino Koi. Ino closed their bedroom door. Naruto ran his fingers through his hair, grinning nervously. Naruto, what the hell were you thinking? Why is my mother here? Hey, she saw me at the store and dragged me back here. I'm sorry. He hugged his angry blonde wife. He knew something that might make her feel better. I'll make it up to you later. Oh, you're damn right you will. Now I'm going to go take these tests just to make the two of you happy. And then maybe I can finally relax and get my sake. She kissed his cheek and left to go to the bathroom, while Naruto went to sit with his mother-in-law. Lovers quarrel? The older woman asked in a knowing tone. No, not really. She actually didn't yell at me as much this time. He laughed. Do you and Ino-chan argue a lot? Oh, no way. Well, lately things have been different. I'm not sure, but she says that things are different. Mrs. Yamanaka stirred her tea as Naruto spoke. Don't worry, Naruto-kun, it's still very early in your marriage. Inoichi and I have had our problems too. Naruto wasn't sure if Ichi wanted to say they were having problems. It made it sound as if their marriage was falling apart. And that didn't really sit too well with the blonde male, because he loved his wife. The idea of some sort of divorce was not something that he wanted to think about. Woohoo! A shout was heard from the bathroom. Ino-chan. Naruto immediately stood up. What's going on, honey? Her mother questioned. Ino came running out into the hallway, making her way over to her husband and mother. She was holding up the 4 tests that she had just finished taking. I took 4 just to prove to you both that I wasn't pregnant. And look, they are all negative. Oh, Mrs. Yamanaka said. Well, that's fine, dear, you both have time. But remember one thing, if you don't remember anything else. It is fun trying. Mother. Ino shouted. Mrs. Yamanaka. Naruto raised his eyebrow in question at his mother-in-law. What? She shrugged her shoulders. You both are young, I was only trying to tell you to relax and have a little fun. Now I'd better get going before your father wonders where I am. Goodbye, Ino-chan. Naruto-kun, have fun but not too much fun. She winked. Ino shuddered as her mother left their apartment. Any and all plans she might have had for her and Naruto were now thrown out of the window. Naruto, about making it up to me. She started. Yeah, Ino. I'm not in the mood anymore. Naruto understood why. He respected his mother-in-law greatly, but she was definitely not shy with her words. The woman was just too damn outspoken. Neither am I, Ino-chan, neither am I, he repeated. Thanks a lot, Mom, she thought bitterly. Damn mother ruining my fun. Ino muttered in her sleep. Ino was not at all surprised that her mother had said what she said. Her mother had always been opinionated. In fact, Ino was positive that she had received that quality trait from her mother. Mrs. Yamanaka was not shy with her words. She also hoped that her mother didn't scare Naruto away completely. She hoped that her marriage wasn't completely destroyed or something to that effect. Why did I have to have such an outspoken mother? The morning sun hit her eyes and she awoke. A yawn escaped her. She turned to the right side of the bed only to see that she was alone. Naruto was not sleeping besides her. Was it possible that he had run off in the middle of the night? Had he been that horrified by what her mother had said? That jerk. He didn't even bother to tell me that he was leaving or kiss me goodbye. She pouted. The blonde got out of bed, placing her robe on as she made her way to the kitchen. Just because he was gone, that didn't mean that she couldn't have breakfast. The house was quiet, a little too quiet, meaning that Naruto was indeed gone. He could have at least said goodbye. Ino looked around the kitchen for something to cook. She wasn't about to starve if she could help it. She paused as she felt two arms wrap around her waist. Hey Ino-chan. He kissed her cheek. Naruto, what's going on? He turned her around, pulling her into a soft, passionate kiss. Ino was a little surprised but soon relaxed into his kiss. He soon picked her up, placing her onto the kitchen table. The blonde male broke off their kiss but did not remove his hands from her waist. Naruto, what's gotten into you this morning? She questioned. I guess I just woke up in an excited mood. He kissed her again. What's wrong, are you complaining? Nope, not at all. She placed her arms around his shoulders, bringing him closer to her. I guess that I just wasn't expecting this from you. He grinned at her before laying her down on the kitchen table. Ino stared wide at him. Naruto. Shish. He hushed her with his finger. I believe that I have some making up to do. He gently pressed his lips to hers, allowing his hands to wander all over her body. I think that we can open this up and get rid of it. He spoke as he opened her robe. He stared down at her semi-form. Goddamn, she's hot like this. He thought. The blue-eyed male started by planting soft, tender kisses on her neck, making a trail from her neck to her shoulder. This caused a slight moan from Ino's lips. Naruto then began ing on the space in between the crook of her neck and shoulder. He knew that was one of the key sensitive spots on her body. And if he knew anything at all, he knew his wife's body. She moaned again. His hand traveled down to her left as he started to massage the sensitive area around her nipple. Naruto. Yes, Ino-chan. He stopped. Whatever you do, don't stop doing that to me. Sure thing. He smiled as he lowered his mouth to her right, planting kisses on and around her nipple. Naruto started gently ing on them, shifting back and forth between her right and left. His pace quickened as he ed faster, harder, and for a longer period of time. Naruto. She moaned her husband's name again. Oh well, if this is another dream, I'd better enjoy it this time. She thought. Once her nipples were hard and erected, he stopped. The young man began placing kisses up and down her stomach. He licked around her navel slowly, knowing that it would cause a reaction out of her. Hey, what are you doing? She breathed. I'm just trying to make your body react to me. You know, like this. He lifted her leg up, licking her thigh in a soft, sensual motion. He held onto her leg, placing more kisses up and down her thigh. Such a tease. She muttered. But Ino-chan, I thought that you liked to be teased this way. Oh. He laughed. I know what you want. You want some of the famous Uzumaki tongue. She looked up, raising an eyebrow to him. What are you talking about, Baka? It's been so long you probably forgot what to do. And how to even use that famous Uzumaki tongue. Naruto pouted at his wife's insult. You want to test that theory? He then bent down, lowering his mouth to her womanhood. He grinned before spreading apart her folds with his hands. Naruto, what are you? She was cut off as she felt his tongue enter her. She felt his tongue swirl around in slow, circular motions. She squirmed under his touch. Ino let out a pleasurable moan. His tongue always felt amazing to her. Naruto ed on her, nibbling around it gently. Oh Kami. He reached up, fondling her as he shoved his tongue in deeper. He then took a finger, placing it inside of her to feel how wet she was. You're so wet, Ino-chan. He thought lustfully as he continued to lick and furiously on her and around it. He ran his fingers in and out of her in a slow, steady pace. Ino was close, she could feel it, and so could he. He slowed down his movements, trying to get her to peek. She wrapped her legs around his shoulders, keeping his head in place as she felt her body twitch at his touch. Naruto baby, she moaned out. Suddenly there was a knock at the door. Oh goddamn, go away, Ino yelled. Naruto stopped and stood up. He knew that his wife was angry because she was so close to her release but was unable to reach it due to the knock at the door. Ino sat up on the table, fixing her robe. Ino-chan, we can't be rude. We can't be rude, she repeated. Whoever the hell is at our door is the rude one, ruining my orgasm. Naruto just laughed, stroking her hair in an effort to calm her. Ino sat down and Naruto answered the door. Oh hey Sakura-chan, what's up? It's only Forehead, leave her out there. Sakura frowned, turning her attention to her best friend. Wow Ino pig, that's a nice way to treat a friend. Ino sat with her head leaning on her elbow. She looked greatly displeased. What's wrong? Oh nothing, except that you completely ruined my fun. The blonde woman thought. No, nothing's wrong, Sakura-chan, have a seat. Sakura sat down across from the married couple. Sakura could feel the tension in the room. She obviously had interrupted something. So what brings you by, Sakura? Ino asked. No reason in particular. I just wanted to see how my two best friends were doing. And you couldn't just call first? Sakura blinked. Something was up with Ino. She clearly wasn't in a good mood at all. You're really in a bad mood, Ino. What's your problem? Meanwhile, Naruto squirmed in his seat. He should have known that messing around with Ino would cause an erection. He closed his eyes, shifting in his seat. Ino could feel that he was uncomfortable. Naruto-kun, what's wrong? She wondered. Oh, it's nothing. He lied. Well, I need to go to the bathroom. You don't mind, do you, Ino, or are you going to snap at me again? Ino looked up, blue orbs meeting her jade green pools. Mind? Why would I mind? Go ahead. Once she was gone, Ino turned her attention to Naruto. What's up? Why are you so anxious? It's because of this. He spoke, leaning back to show Ino the cause of the problem. Oh. She immediately understood. What am I going to do? Maybe I should leave before Sakura-chan gets back. Naruto tried to move, but Ino shook her head, pushing him back down in his seat. No way, you're not getting up so that she can see your goods. Those belong to me. Ino-chan, he complained. It hurts already and I'll get blue balls if I don't. Alright, I'll help you. She scooted over closer to him, her hand resting on his pants. Ino, he spoke in a surprised tone. With Sakura-chan here, either you tell her to get out or we do it right here underneath this table. Ino didn't wait for him to respond as she slipped her hand into his now unzipped pants. He let out a surprised moan. Ino, geez, you are hard, baby. She spoke in a teasing sort of way as she started to stroke him. As Sakura re-entered the room, Naruto tried to keep a straight face as Ino ran her hand up and down his hardened. Damn it, he muttered. Why are you two acting so strange today? Naruto, you look uncomfortable, are you okay? Hi, he managed to get the words out. Ino immediately stopped stroking him. She knew that this would tick him off. Damn, Ino won't finish what she started. I'll go make us some tea and maybe some dango. Are you hungry, Sakura? Just tea sounds fine. Naruto, aren't you going to get up and help her? Ino put her hands onto her husband's broad shoulders. My Naruto has been working way too hard lately. It's fine that he just sits here, isn't that right, babe? Yeah, he nodded. I especially have to work hard when my wife doesn't help me out. Ino only kissed his cheek as she suppressed her laugh. He was annoyed with her, she could tell. There most likely would have to be some making up to do on her part. But naturally that would have to be saved for later. Well, I'll help you then. Sakura got up, following her best friend into the kitchen. Naruto sat there tapping his foot in annoyance. He was unable to do anything about his situation if he sat here. I've got to get out of here, he thought as he quickly got up from his seat. In the kitchen, Sakura decided to talk to her friend. Ino, are you and Naruto okay? Things seemed a little tense back there. There was just no way that Ino was going to explain her feelings to Sakura. Her feelings about her marriage was just not something she wanted to share. Hell, she didn't even want to tell her own mother about anything. What? That's just how married people act. Naruto and I are fine. Sakura seemed unconvinced. I don't know, it just seemed like you guys had been fighting or something. We're fine, Ino said again as she poured the tea into some cups. Are you sure? She knew that Sakura was only trying to be a good friend. But right now she didn't want to get into any details. And to be honest, she felt just a little embarrassed. Naruto and I are fine. You love me, don't you, babe? She called out, only she didn't get an answer. Naruto. She called again. Looks like someone's getting the silent treatment. Sakura teased. Naruto, answer me. She entered the living room only to find that Naruto was gone. That's strange, he's gone. I wonder where he ran off to. Sakura said. I don't know, but he couldn't have gone far. We'll find him, the pink-haired woman decided. Meanwhile, the blonde male was in the bedroom sitting on the bed. He had one hand wrapped around his length. He figured that since Ino left him in this predicament, he needed to take care of things himself. Damn wife, he muttered. Leaving me hard so that I could get blue balls or something. He leaned back against the wall, closing his eyes as he ran his hand up and down his thick manhood. He slowly rubbed the tip in circular motions. Goddamn, I'm so hard. This is all Ino-chan's fault. That's the last time I ever give her the Uzumaki tongue. Naruto's movements shifted from slow and steady to a harder, rougher pace. He smiled a little as he envisioned Ino's soft pink lips wrapped around his instead of his hand. She owes me something, definitely. He could feel his balls start to tense up. He needed relief soon. Naruto. Ino entered the room. What? Oh. He cursed and immediately stopped jerking himself when he saw the looks on both Ino and Sakura's faces. Ino looked ready to kill him and Sakura turned red with embarrassment. Naruto, what the hell? I told you not to let her see your goods. That belongs to me, do you hear me, forehead? She pointed to her friend. Naruto, Sakura turned her attention elsewhere. Oh, sorry, Sakura-chan. He threw the covers over himself immediately. It really didn't matter though, the damage had already been done. What were you thinking, Naruto? Ino shouted. I was thinking that maybe I'll help myself out since you didn't want to finish what you started. Why didn't you knock or something? Sakura's eyes widened as Naruto spoke. You mean you guys were? You two. You guys are? She couldn't even finish her words. Why didn't I knock? It's my bedroom too, you damn moron. I can't believe this. Now forehead, now's what you've got down there. Sakura, he's mine, all mine. Don't you get any ideas? And with that the blue-eyed woman passed out, hitting the floor. Ino-chan, are you okay? Sakura bent down, feeling Ino's forehead. She's out cold, Naruto. I think that you should just leave her to rest and see what happens when she wakes up. Okay. He nodded. Sakura-chan, forget what you saw here, okay? He grinned hopefully. Oh yeah, right, like I'll ever forget this. She thought. Sure thing, Naruto. Good. He sighed in relief. I'm going to go though. You two are way too weird for me. See ya, Sakura-chan. I hope that Ino-chan can forget about this too. He then gazed at her, swallowing the lump of nervousness in his throat. Who am I kidding? I am a dead man when she wakes up. Ino opened her eyes to the sound of moans and groaning. There was a loud thrusting noise. It sounded like someone was attempting to bring the house down. She could hear the banging sounds coming from down the hall. It was really starting to get on her nerves. What the? The only person that she should be moaning in my house is me. Naruto. She heard a woman's voice coming from the guest room. And that's definitely not me. She got up following the noise. The closer she got, the louder the moaning, shouting, and whimpering became. It definitely wasn't what she would call music to her ears, especially when she wasn't the one making any of those pleasurable noises. Who the hell would come in her house just to screw around? Oh Naruto-kun, you're so good at this. I've never felt like this before. Ino's eyes widened as she heard that voice. She knew that voice all too well. She came bursting through the door only to see Sakura sprawled out underneath her husband. Her pink locks damp from her sweat and clinging to her face. Her breathing was out of control. Ino knew what that was like. Sakura had just experienced a full-blown orgasm courtesy of her husband. Naruto leaned down, capturing Sakura's lips in a kiss. Naruto, Sakura, what the hell are you two doing? Oh Ino. Sakura looked up at her best friend. Her cheeks flushed red from embarrassment. It's not what it looks like. Ino frowned, placing her hands onto her hips. Well, it looks like my husband is my best friend in my house. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so it is what it looks like. Naruto grinned as he pulled out of the pink-haired woman. The two of them sat up, both of them sweaty from their moment of intimacy. Naruto then wrapped his arms around her waist, pulling her close to him. Sorry Ino-chan, but Sakura wanted to experience the same thing that you do whenever we have. I couldn't just ignore her wishes, you know. Ino's mouth dropped. She couldn't believe that he had the audacity to spit that bullshit. It took everything she had to keep herself from running over there and strangling the both of them. Shit, if I kill them, where will I hide the bodies? Sorry about this, Ino. Sakura apologized. She growled. And you Naruto, you're my husband, how dare you do this to me? Sorry. He shrugged his shoulders. Hey, I know you can always join in. Yeah. Sakura nodded. What the hell, no. Ino opened her eyes. Her chest was pounding furiously. She looked to see that Naruto had his arms wrapped around her. Naruto. She gently shook him. 5 more minutes. He whispered. Naruto, wake up, okay. Tell me what happened, was it all just a dream? The blonde male opened his eyes, turning his attention on to his wife. Ino-chan, you're awake. Yeah, and I just had a terrible nightmare. Naruto, it was all a dream, right? Sakura wasn't here and she didn't see you jerking off earlier, right? Naruto blinked, trying to decide if he should tell her the truth. She was pretty vulnerable right now, seeing as how she was fresh from a nightmare. That's good, we'll go with that. He smiled. Oh Kami. She sighed. Then that means that it really did happen. Ino fell back onto the bed. Naruto only stared at her in silence. Hey, are you going to be alright? How the hell am I supposed to recover from this? Sakura saw. She paused. She wasn't supposed to see that ever. Naruto wondered if there was anything he could do to possibly cheer her up. He wasn't sure if he had ever seen her this miserable before. Ino, the blue-eyed female sat up, turning away from him. I think that I'm going to go out for a while. I need to clear my head. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I'll see you later then. Bye Ino. He was going to tell her that he loved her, yet she was already gone. Naruto began to wonder if Ino had a point. Things did feel extremely uncomfortable between the two of them. It never got this way. Sure, they occasionally argued, got on each other's nerves as well, but it never felt this strange before. Then again, given the earlier events, the whole situation was awkward. Naruto sighed, placing his hands behind his head. How are we supposed to fix this? Meanwhile, the platinum blonde went out for what was originally supposed to be a walk. Only she ended up going into a bar. Well, a drink or two can't hurt. Ino smiled when she saw a familiar face. Tsunade-sama. She waved wildly, trying to get her attention. The blonde-haired Hokage looked up, squinting her eyes to see who was shouting so loudly. Oh Ino, well, what are you doing standing over there? Get your over here and have a drink with me. Don't mind if I do. The younger woman sat down next to Tsunade. Sake was instantly poured. Tsunade-sama, if you're here, then who's in your office? Oh shit. She cursed. Oh, that's right, I left a bunchin in my office as a replacement. I needed to get out for a while. Yeah, tell me about it. Ino paused as she downed her sake in what looked like seconds. Before long, another bottle was ordered due to the fact that Tsunade wasn't to share her precious sake. Ino was proving to be able to drink as much as she could. Damn Ino, slow down will you? I'm sorry, she hiccuped. I'm just depressed. You're depressed now, I know that something's wrong for sure. What's got you so down? Ino wondered if she should tell Tsunade everything. I should feel a buzz first before I tell her. She thought as she grabbed another bottle of sake. We're going to need more sake. Tsunade whispered to the bartender. Ino waited until she finished her third bottle before talking. Oh yeah, I feel the buzz now. Tsunade-sama, I need some advice. What about what's going on? It's sort of personal. In fact, it's very personal. Tsunade drank down her bottle of sake. Okay, I'm ready for this. She spoke. Go ahead, talk to me. Ino put her hand down on the table holding on to her now empty bottle of sake. It's my marriage. I don't know what it is, but Naruto and things feel different. Tsunade leaned back in her chair, opening up another bottle of sake. Trouble in paradise, I suppose. Yeah, we've been arguing a lot more, not to mention. She paused. Excuse me, I need to be drunk for this. She took another sake bottle, downing it instantly. Tsunade stared between her and the remaining bottles. She's going to end up drinking all of my sake. Like I said, we argue more we haven't had in a month. Tsunade coughed over her drink as Ino made that revelation. She really wasn't kidding when she said it was personal. She really didn't need to hear things like that. Ino. And that's not all, Tsunade-sama. Just today one of the most embarrassing things happened. She seemed to be in a panic. Tsunade noticed that when Ino was drunk she seemed to only get louder. Damn, I'm going to be so hangover with a killer migraine because of this girl. Tsunade thought. Ino, calm down. No. Ino stood up, clenching her fist. My best friend saw my husband jerking off today, talk about humiliating. Ino sighed as she retook her seat. Tsunade's eyes widened. Ino, just what the hell goes on in your household? The bright-eyed female stared up at Tsunade. Her head was starting to kill her. I don't know. I need another drink. Tsunade-sama. We don't have any more. Not to worry. Tsunade reached down underneath the chair and picked up a few more bottles. I always carry extra. She grinned. Before long both blondes were drunk and laughing out loud together. Ino began to explain the situation to Tsunade. For some reason she didn't feel embarrassed talking to her. Now do you see. She hiccuped. I've been deprived for a month. My mother, she always seems to ruin everything. And now Sakura has seen my husband's. She stopped. Well, she's seen the promised land. Tsunade decided to just let Ino vent. Although she had to admit it all sounded extremely embarrassing, not to mention funny as hell. Ino, come on, it can't be that bad. It's terrible. For all I know he could be with her right now, ing her brains out. I'm just saying, where is my goddamn orgasm? Several people in the bar had now turned their attention to the platinum blonde. Tsunade was drunk, but she was nowhere as drunk as Ino. Ino, calm down. It's not fair, Tsunade-sama. When do I get my fun? Am I not entitled to it? Maybe Naruto doesn't want me anymore. The hazel-eyed woman gently rubbed her shoulders, trying to comfort her. Calm down, Ino, you can't do this to yourself. Yeah, you're right. Ino agreed. I'm still gorgeous. She laughed. Ino, you are drunk. You're completely and totally wasted. Probably. She grinned. But you are too. Tsunade nodded as she closed her eyes for a moment. Yeah, I can feel a buzz. But I'm used to drinking a lot. She then turned to see Ino laying her head down on the bar table. Tsunade-sama, I'm so ed up. Hold on here for a minute. Tsunade decided that she would call Naruto to come and take her home. Meanwhile, the blonde male paced back and forth. He was concerned about Ino. It had been a while since she had left the apartment. She had left in such a bad way, he was worried about what she would do. Ino-chan might do something crazy if she's not careful. When Naruto heard the phone ringing, he stopped pacing, running to get the phone. Hello, Uzumaki residence. Nah, Naruto. Ba-chan. What's up, you sound drunk. Are you alright? Yeah, I'm fine. But you might want to get down here. Tsunade-sama. Who are you talking to? Naruto heard Ino's voice. Ba-chan is she? He started. Yep, she's drunk. Get down here to Kazuka's bar, okay? Hi. He nodded and cut the phone off. I better go get my drunken wife. Tsunade focused her attention back onto the younger woman. Ino put that sake down this moment. But I'm depressed, she mumbled. The blonde Hokage put her hands to her hips, staring at Ino with a displeased look on her face. Look, damn it. If you want your husband that badly, go home, grab him and make him realize that you're desperate for it. Be a woman and go get your man. Ino blinked in confusion. You're right, Tsunade-sama. I don't know how you could do it. How can you go years, and years, and years without it? I'd kill myself. Tsunade looked completely offended. It took everything she had to keep from slapping the young woman. You are so lucky that you are drunk. Ino tried to stand but fell back down. Oh, I guess I won't be going home and getting any tonight. Ino, sit down, relax. You're going to have a major hangover in the morning. Tsunade did her best to try and calm the blonde down. I'm really drunk. Yep, kiddo, you are. She spoke as she put her hand to Ino's head. When Naruto walked in, he immediately scanned the room for a sign of his loud, drunk wife. He spotted the two of them sitting at a table. Ino was laid out on the table, hair falling into her eyes. Ino-chan. She sat up when she heard her name. She blinked, rubbing her eyes due to her blurred vision. Who are you? Goddamn, Ba-chan, she is really drunk. Tsunade nodded. She held her sake pretty good for a while though. Naruto suddenly picked her up, carrying her over his shoulders. What the, put me down. I'll take her home, Ba-chan, thanks. Put me down, you jerk. I can't go home with strangers. I'm married. It's for your own good, Ino-koi. You'll be really out of it in the morning. Naruto walked the streets of Konoha with Ino occasionally shouting at him. You are some sort of pedophile, aren't you? Where the hell are you taking me? I'm taking you home. I already told you, I have a husband. He's a bit of an idiot, but he's mine, you know. Yeah, and I bet that he's extremely handsome and cool, right? Naruto grinned. Ino grew silent for a moment. Her head was really starting to kill her. Is he hot? Sure. Cool, no way. He's always going to be my lovable idiot. Aw man. Naruto sighed heavily. Drunk or sober, she still managed to insult him. That's my Ino-chan, drunk and still insulting me. You better put me down, you asshole. My husband will kick your. Naruto couldn't help but chuckle. She was so drunk that she still didn't realize that she was talking to him. If he wasn't still so worried about her, he would have found this whole situation funny. She's so drunk she probably won't even remember any of this. The blonde male arrived home, placing his wife back in their bed. Ino was fast asleep. Naruto kissed her forehead, wrapping the covers around her. I should have known that you'd drown yourself in sake, Ino-chan. I just didn't think that you would get this drunk. He chuckled. Ino shifted in her sleep, reaching for something. She would sometimes like to hold on to Naruto while she was sleeping. Naruto, she moaned. What are you dreaming about, Ino-koi, huh? He whispered in her ear. She was probably no doubt having some sort of erotic dream, knowing her. Naruto wrapped his arms around his wife, pulling her into a tight embrace. He wanted her to feel that human contact. Naruto. Ino soon opened her eyes, sitting up. Hey, Ino-chan, are you? He paused as he noticed the look of discomfort on her face. Ino, what's wrong? Naruto. She couldn't finish whatever it was that she was going to say because she was now throwing up on him. Naruto entered the bedroom with a nice cup of steaming tea for his hungover wife. He found her leaning over the bed with her hair falling into her aqua-colored orbs. Kami, I was so wasted. Ino grabbed her head. Here, Ino-chan, drink this. No thank you. I'll just leave it here for you then. The platinum blonde sat up, trying to remember all of the previous events. Naruto sat down with his back turned to her. The couple sat in silence for a while. A part of him felt like they needed to discuss what had happened when Sakura had unexpectedly dropped by. The only problem was that he didn't want to upset her in any way. Arguing with a hungover Ino wasn't something that appealed to him. Hey, you changed your shirt. She noticed. I'm sorry for throwing up on you. She apologized to him once more. She really hadn't meant to do such a thing. It's alright, you were really drunk. How much sake did you have? A few bottles, I think. I sort of lost track. She admitted. Ino hadn't meant to drink nearly as much as she did, but it happened. She assumed it was because she was trying to forget about what had happened earlier. Deep down, Ino knew that drinking her problems away would prove futile. In the end, it was just a really bad choice. All that did was give me a damn hangover. Ino-chan, maybe we should talk. Talk about what? You know what? He told her. Naruto, I really don't want to talk about that. It was embarrassing enough having to be there when it happened. Ino could only imagine the kinds of thoughts that had to be running through Sakura's mind. Just what kind of sick, perverted thoughts could the pink-haired woman have been thinking right now? Was it possible that she wanted to sleep with him now? Give him a little test run to see just how good the blonde-haired male was in bed. Ino shuddered at the very idea of that. You know, it was sort of your fault. Naruto spoke. This caused Ino to look up at him. It's my fault. Hey, I would have never had to do any of that if you would have helped me out. It was really wrong of you to leave me in that situation. Ino blinked curiously. How could she deny that he had a point? If you really got right down to it, all of this was her fault. She should have never left him in such a situation. He didn't ask for her to start jerking him off and then suddenly leave him like that. Ino should have at least finished what she had started. Of course, she would never admit that to him. She didn't want to admit that she was wrong. Naruto, you're seriously going to blame me? Why didn't you just wait until Sakura left? Or better yet, why didn't you just leave her out there? Naruto's mouth opened wide in shock. He soon regained his composure. I couldn't take it. I was going to crazy, and you know that. He shouted. Ino grabbed her forehead in pain. She was still reeling from her day of drunken madness. So the volume of his voice wasn't really helping her in any way. Not so loud, Naruto, I have a headache. Hey, I didn't tell you to drink so much. You. Ino cursed at him. She was becoming angry. He could see it in those aqua-colored orbs. Naruto knew that he would have to be the calm one in this situation. Two angry blondes was not needed right now. Ino, there's no need to get hostile. Ino ignored him by putting her pillow over her head. Right now she just wanted to sit and do absolutely nothing. Was that really so much to ask for? Just let me suffer this hangover in peace alone. He pushed the pillow off of her, turning her towards him. They were now facing each other. Ino stared up into those cerulean blue orbs. There was silence until she broke it. What is it? She questioned. Naruto grabbed her in a tight but loving manner. He stared at her for a moment, placing his hand to her cheek. His warm hand pressed to her face as he stroked her face. He then leaned forward, capturing her lips in a gentle, warm kiss. Ino's eyes widened in surprise and she allowed herself to deepen their kiss. Ino moaned out as she felt his hands wander onto her body. Naruto held her tighter, bringing her closer to him. She could feel him pressed up against her. She could even feel his heartbeat through his chest. She soon broke away from their kiss. Ino-chan, you know that I'd never leave you alone even if you asked me to. Ino sighed and turned away from him again. Right now, for some reason, she didn't want to hear his words. I want to be alone, so can you just do me that favor? Fine, but you know that I'm right. He told her and got up to leave. You're not right, Naruto. Actually, if you really want to blame someone, blame yourself. Who was the one who started foreplay with me in the morning? That caused you to have that erection, and you know it. Naruto stared into her eyes. They held a look of regret in them. He knew that she probably didn't mean to say the things that she said. If anything, her anger was starting to get to her, and it was making her say these things. This was beginning to become one of their most intense arguments. But somehow Naruto doubted that there would be make-up after. All right, Ino. He sighed. Then it's my fault, whatever you say. I'm going to go to the guest room. He was only going down the hall, but to Ino it felt like a sort of separation. She almost felt like he was running away from her, like he was running away from dealing with her and their problems. It felt like she had caused him to want to leave. She hated that feeling. You know where to find me when you cool down. She could feel his eyes on her. She could just imagine the look in those deep cerulean blue orbs. His tone of voice had sounded sad enough. Ino knew that she didn't want to see the look in his eyes. A part of her wanted to stop him from leaving, only she decided not to. Just go, okay. He simply nodded, deciding that he probably shouldn't say anything to her. He wanted to avoid another argument if possible. Ino flinched as she heard the door close. From that moment on, the Uzumaki household was deathly silent. It was completely unusual for the equally loud blondes. This was definitely not the way the married couple usually acted. It was only silent like this if no one was home or if they had just finished arguing. No one could determine how long the silence would last this time. Naruto lay with his arms behind his head as he gazed up into the ceiling. He hated this uncomfortable silence in his own house. He really wanted to be able to do something about it. Right now it seemed pointless to even try. She'll probably be angry for a while. He ended up closing his eyes, seeing as how there was nothing better to do this moment. He wasn't sure how much time had passed, a few minutes, an hour or two, but after a while he heard the door open. He didn't bother to flinch, knowing that it had to be his wife. He felt some weight as she moved on to the bed. The next thing Naruto knew, he felt a pair of soft lips on his. He assumed that this was Ino's way of apologizing to him. Ino-chan, he thought. Only when he opened his eyes he came face to face with the pink-haired female. She was the absolute last person he expected to find in his bed. Sakura-chan. Naruto, I came over as soon as I heard about what happened between you and Ino. She was now sitting on top of him. Naruto stared up at the green-eyed woman in complete and total shock. He couldn't help but wonder why she was behaving this way. It was so very unlike her. Sakura-chan, why are you? Shish. She put her finger to his lips as she ran her hand up and down his chest. She gently ran her fingers up and down his rock-hard abs in soft motions. You need someone who can really take care of you, since Ino Pig won't do it. Sakura got off of him and started to unzip his pants. She slowly reached inside, pulling out his slightly aroused manhood. She started to stroke him, keeping her pace steady and even. She smiled as a slight groan escaped his mouth. You really are a big boy, aren't you, Naruto? It no wonder why Ino didn't want me to see what you've kept hidden for all these years. Sakura. It's okay, don't worry, she never has to find out about this. It will be our little secret, nay Naruto-kun. The young woman smiled up at him again before lowering her mouth to his thick manhood. Naruto let out a muffled moan. He couldn't believe that his ex-crush was doing this to him. He was a married man, for God's sake. He shouldn't even be allowing this to happen. She licked up and down in slow sensual motions. Her warm tongue caressed his before she wrapped her entire mouth around him. Naruto could only feel himself growing harder. The young woman's pace quickened as she gripped onto him. How does this feel, huh, Naruto? He was at a loss for words. I do a much better job than Ino Pig, don't I? Look at how hard you are. He could say nothing while she continued to show him the pleasure that he had been craving from his wife. Naruto knew that this was wrong, but damn it all if it didn't feel amazing. Naruto let out a satisfied groan, running his fingers through her pink locks. Sakura-chan. He awoke with a start, sweat pouring from his head. He could also feel the rising bulge in his pants. His heart was racing from his erotic dream. Of all the people, why did he have to dream about his former crush? The woman was his wife's best friend at that. Alright Naruto, pull yourself together, you don't have to tell Ino-chan a thing. Tell me what? He heard. The blonde male turned around to see his wife standing in the doorway. Ino-chan, what's with you? Why are you so sweaty? She asked as she sat down beside him. I had a nightmare. He lied. She nodded in understanding. Ino kissed his forehead, then wrapped her arms around his shoulders. Naruto could feel her heartbeat. Naruto, she whispered. Yeah, Ino. What the hell is happening to us? He buried his face in the crook of her neck. Naruto placed his arms around her waist, pulling her closer to him. I don't know. He spoke honestly. I just don't want to fight with you over stupid things. Ino inhaled her husband's cologne. He smelled so good to her. He had always smelled so good, it was really such a turn on. She knew that now was not really the time to think such thoughts. They were in the middle of a crisis right now, would not solve anything. I know that our argument was stupid. I shouldn't have said any of those things to you. Naruto nodded. He wasn't going to say anything else. It seemed that everything he said pissed her off in some way. And he simply wanted to avoid an argument with her. I was just upset, you know, but not at you. I still can't believe that happened. Then I had to go drink my depression away. I should have stayed here and talked to you. Well, she paused. I should have killed Sakura first for seeing you do that. Naruto blinked in confusion, wondering why Ino said she should have killed Sakura. It wasn't as if it was her fault that she had witnessed him in such a private moment. Why do you want to kill Sakura-chan? So that she wouldn't get any funny ideas. She probably wants to sleep with you or something. A blush rose to the young man's face as he remembered the dream that he had. He was still feeling a bit uneasy about it. He hadn't had those thoughts about Sakura since he was a teenager. He was over that crush, wasn't he? Naruto couldn't think about any of that right now. The only thing that he knew was that he could never tell Ino about his dream. Stop kidding, Ino-chan, that's not funny. I'm not. Ino shook her head. Naruto, don't be so modest. You know that you are very well endowed. She grinned just thinking about it. My wife is such a big pervert, he thought as he rubbed her back. Well, you know, the only woman that I would sleep with is you. Yeah, I know, it's just. Naruto stopped her by pulling her into a soft kiss. No buts, I'm yours, okay, Ino-chan. He pointed to the ring on his finger. I kind of belong to you. Ino chuckled and put her hand to his head, running his fingers through his spiky blonde hair. You got that right. Still, I think that I'm going to have a talk with Forehead. Good idea, Ino-chan, you guys should talk. Naruto agreed. The platinum blonde was silent for a moment. Sure, it was all well and good that she go have a talk with her, but this wasn't only her problem. Naruto was involved in this as well. You should come too since you're involved in this mess. Naruto gulped. He had to go sit and talk with the same woman that he had just dreamed about. Things were sure to be uneasy for the three of them. Oh, come on, Ino-chan, I don't want to be there for your girl talk. Hardly. She laughed. This will be anything but fun. You're coming. She told him. I don't want to, you can't do this to me. Ino blinked, wondering why he seemed so on edge. He seemed nervous for some reason and she wanted to know why that was. Naruto, what's with you? It's just Sakura. It's not like it's Tsunade-sama or even worse, my mother. At least I didn't have a dream about either of them. He thought. Yeah, but I don't want to go. Ino sighed. She stood up, placing her hands onto her hips. She could see that she was going to have to stand her ground on this one. Naruto. You are going to come or I swear I will make sure that you don't get any ramen for a month. Huh. Blackmail, come on, Ino-chan, that's so cruel. I'll do it too, you know that I will. So do we have an understanding? Hi, Ino-chan. He nodded in defeat. Good, now if you'll excuse me, I'm damn tired and I still have a headache. I'm going to go back to sleep. We'll go once I'm completely over my hangover, okay? She smiled for him. Yeah, fine. He agreed. Oh yeah, I can hardly wait, this ought to be fun. It took a full day for Ino to completely recover from her previous day of drinking. She stood in the shower preparing to get ready to go have her talk with Sakura. We need to be clear on a few things. So it's a good thing that I'm going to go talk to her. Ino was not too thrilled about what this conversation would sound like. It was bound to be uncomfortable for everyone. She soon heard knocking at the door and it brought her out of her thoughts. Hey Ino-chan, how long are you going to be? Naruto's voice was heard. I'm in the shower, come on in, okay? Naruto did as she asked and entered the bathroom. He wasn't really looking forward to going over to talk with Sakura either. He would much rather have had to go on a mission right now. Unfortunately, fate seemed to be against him. Ino had her back turned to him. All he could do was stare at her form. He watched as the water trickled down her skin. She looked so amazingly beautiful to him right now with her hair cascading around her smooth creamy skin. A small smile rose to her face. She knew that he was watching her. Ino turned around facing the blue-eyed man. Come on baby, why don't you take off those clothes and get in the shower with me? A smile rose to Naruto's face. He put his hands behind his head. You're so naughty Ino-chan. She reached over putting her hands onto his shoulders pulling him towards her. They were now staring at one another. She lowered her mouth to his ear. You have too much clothes on, take them off and get in here. She helped him take off his shirt and quickly threw it to the floor. She unzipped his pants pulling them down along with his boxers. Once Naruto was completely, he stepped into the shower with her. We haven't showered together in a long time. Yeah, Naruto nodded. Ino turned to face him placing her arms around his shoulders. Naruto let out a slight moan when he felt her nipples pressed up against his chest. What's the matter babe? Nothing you. She cut him off by pressing her lips to his. Their kiss started off soft, slow, and sensual. It soon grew hotter, deeper, and much more intense than their previous lip lock. Naruto grabbed a hold of her waist, his fingers now pressed into her skin. He suddenly picked her up, pushing her up against the wall. Ino wrapped her legs securely around his waist as he held her. Naruto broke away from their kiss, turning his attention to her neck. He started with soft, gentle kisses that eventually turned into harder, rougher ones. The kind that left marks, letting everyone know that she belonged to him. She was his wife and belonged with no other man but him. Ino closed her eyes, letting out a slight moan. She then licked the tip of his ear in a slow, seductive manner. This caused a reaction out of her husband. Ino, he whispered in a deep, husky voice. Naruto, on the other hand, enjoyed the feeling of her nipples pressed up against him. It was beyond amazing. Her body had felt so good pressed up against his. There was nothing between them to stop the feeling of his flesh to hers. It was just his body linked with hers. He then pushed her up a little higher so that he could gain access to her nipples. He took one into his mouth. She let out a moan as she felt his warm mouth hit her flesh. Naruto edged around the light skin of her nipple in soft, gentle, almost teasingly motions. Naruto, she called out his name and pushed his head closer to her chest by wrapping her arms around him tighter. He took his hand, running his fingers up and down her body, making a trail from her to her lower regions. He lightly brushed his hand across her womanhood, but did not enter a finger inside of her. Naruto, you tease. Sorry Ino-koi, but I got to have my fun with you. He took a finger and began rubbing the outside of her lips. Nah, Naruto. He gently rubbed her with 2 fingers. His tender, gentle stroking only causing her to get wetter. No matter how good it felt, his teasing was starting to get to her. Ino wanted to scream for him to shove his fingers in and rub her until she came from sheer enjoyment. Naruto pulled her into another kiss. She moaned into his mouth. Naruto, yes Ino-chan. Naruto, I want. He grinned seductively. There was a mischievous look in those cerulean blue orbs. Ino knew very well that he would continue this little game with her. What do you want, huh? He asked as he kissed her nipple. Stop teasing me, she told him. Your fingers, was all she could manage to say to him. Naruto stopped stroking her, immediately pulling his fingers back. You mean these? Yeah, you know what I want, goddammit. The blonde man smiled as he spread her lips apart with 2 fingers. He started rubbing her in gradual sensual motions, his fingers caressing her as he moved up and down. Baby, she whispered. Naruto's fingers slipped in and out of her. His movements going from gentle to faster. His fingers now wet from his exploration of her moist womanhood. Ino-chan, you're so wet. Ino knew that she had wanted to come. She wanted to be able to have that complete thrill of her orgasm. She had waited a long time. She would be damned if she didn't enjoy every single detail. Naruto, go harder, alright. Sure thing, whatever you want. He pushed his fingers deeper inside of her warmth. He had no intentions of slowing down until he felt her cum. Naruto knew each and every spot that made his wife's body tick. He could always tell by the sounds that she made when she was really enjoying it. He could also tell when she was about to come. The volume of her voice would always get louder. Naruto, she screamed out as he hit the one spot that only he could reach. The one spot that only he was aware of. He smiled. Did I hit your spot, Ino-chan? He asked knowingly. Shut up, she breathed. Naruto began to slow down as he started to feel his wife come. Oh, Naruto. She uttered his name and came to her much-needed release. Naruto slowly pulled his fingers out of her. They were now moist and sticky from her release. It's a good thing that we're in the shower, Ino-koi. He washed his hands underneath the shower head. He figured that since he and Ino were done with their little game, he could leave the shower. There really was no reason to stay since they were done. Before he could leave, Ino had called out to him. Wait, Naruto. She put her hand to his arm, stopping him from going any further. He turned back around to look at her. His eyebrows raised in question. What's up? He wondered. She put her hand to his cheek, kissing him. She edged gently on his bottom lip, teasing his lips with her tongue. She soon stuck her tongue in his mouth. Their tongues wrestled with one another for dominance. Ino soon broke their kiss. She planted a kiss on his lips once more before she began to kiss his neck. From there she made her way down to his chest. Naruto stared down at her as she placed sweet, tender kisses up and down his rock-hard, well-toned abs. Ino. She looked up at him, sending him a seductive smile. Naruto-kun, it's time that I made it up for leaving you oh so hard the other day. The platinum blonde got down on her knees, placing her hand firmly onto his thick manhood. Naruto twitched at her gentle touch. Ino. Shish. She silenced him. Just shut up and enjoy. She started by softly teasing the head of his with her tongue. Naruto let out a muffled groan. It was now his turn to get teased. She licked up and down, twirling her tongue around as if she was eating an ice cream cone. And right now it seemed that he was her favorite flavor. Ino-chan. Yeah, baby, she asked as she started to stroke his. Her movements were strong and firm as she held on to him. Stop teasing. Oh, you mean this? She spoke, placing a kiss on his now erect member. Look at how hard you are. Ino wrapped her mouth around his head and began to on him. Her warm mouth and tongue was an amazing feeling to the blonde man. Ino, he groaned. She held on firmly to the base of his erect member. She worked on him, going up and down in a nice steady pace. Naruto closed his eyes. Ino edged harder, making sure that she didn't bite him while doing this. If she knew anything, Ino knew just how to take care of her man. She stopped, turning her attention to his head. Do you like this, Naruto-kun? She smiled, licking around his big swelling head. Hi, he managed to say. This was what he had been craving for days now. Was it really so much to ask for his wife to show him a little special attention? He didn't think so. Good, I'm glad. Ino planned to send her husband over the edge. She placed her mouth back onto his erect manhood. I'm going to make him come. She thought with confidence. Ino-chan. He called out her name, deeply running her fingers through her long blonde locks. He watched as Ino's head bounced up and down with how fast she was going. Ino, you're so good at this. With her free hand she caressed his balls. She toyed with them by twirling them around in her hands. Naruto let out another deep groan. It would be all over if Ino did what he thought that she was about to do. Please don't lick them. Whatever you do, don't lick them. Of course, having a wife that could read his mind proved to be a real pain in the. So he doesn't want me to tease his balls. She instantly pulled him out of her mouth. Naruto stared down at her with his eyebrows raised. She was planning something, he was sure of it. Ino, what are you about to do? Nothing, baby. She smiled as she pressed her lips to the young man's balls. She stuck her tongue out and began licking the sensitive skin. His eyes opened wider. Ino, you lied to me. You're such a big tease. That's okay, baby, let me help you come. I know that you're close. She decided to finish him by jerking him off. Ino grabbed a hold of his thick, hard length. The young woman stroked him up and down, her movements shifting from soft and slow to a rougher, harder pace. Oh Ino-chan. His balls tightened due to the fact that he was so close to his release. Ino was intent on making him come. She wanted to prove that he wasn't the only one good at teasing someone during foreplay. He's good, but I know that he can't hold out much longer. Ino applied more pressure to him but still managed to slow her movements down in attempt to help him come faster. She could see his pre-cum sprouting from the head. Ino smirked. It would be all over soon. Game. Set match. It's all over. Naruto could not hold back any longer. The blue-eyed man shouted out his wife's name while finally coming to release. Ino let him go and stood up. I'm all sticky now. It's a good thing that we're in the shower, huh, Naruto-kun? Come here, you're a mess too. She told him. Ino turned the water on, pulling him underneath the shower head with her. The water washing them clean of all the warm sticky fluid that Naruto had left on the both of them. I love you. She whispered to him and placed her arms around him. I love you too, Ino-chan. He put his hand to her cheek, gently pressing his lips to hers. He pressed her up against the wall so he could deepen their kiss. We'd better turn this water off and get going. She spoke in a breathy tone. Yeah, don't remind me. Come on, cheer up, it won't be so bad, I promise. Whatever you say, Ino-chan. She quickly pecked his cheek. Ino then hopped out of the shower. The blonde woman went to get dresses with Naruto holding her hand while she led the way to their bedroom. Ino was trying to put her top on but was distracted by Naruto kissing her neck. Naruto, if you don't stop, I'll never get dressed. Come on, Ino, let's just stay home. He whispered in a low husky voice, gripping her waist. Stop, okay? She laughed. Not that I don't love to see you, but you need to get dressed too. So get to it. A sigh escaped the blonde male. He could now see that there was no getting out of this. He quickly dressed and waited for her out in the living room. He lay down on the couch, putting his hands behind his head, a yawn escaping him. Ino-chan, hurry up, okay? I'll be there in a minute. She called back to him. Before Naruto completely realized it, he was fast asleep on the couch. When the platinum blonde finally deemed herself ready, she smiled. Alright, I think that I'm all set. Naruto, are you ready? She stopped talking when she noticed him fast asleep on the couch. Unbelievable. She sighed. The blue-eyed woman walked over to her sleeping husband. I guess that I'll just have to leave you to sleep then. She leaned down, kissing his forehead. See ya later. And with that, Ino left the house, heading for Sakura's. The more she thought about it, maybe it was a good idea that he didn't come. She could have a woman-to-woman talk with her best friend without him feeling uncomfortable. It's probably better this way. He didn't want to go anyway. It might have been too awkward with him there. Ino then remembered her previous dream that she had with Sakura and Naruto. She flinched just thinking about that terrible dream. It had reflected her worst fear in the world. Yeah, it's definitely better that he stays home, just in case some crazy bullshit like that ever happened. Ino had to have faith in the fact that he wouldn't betray her that way. Naruto simply wasn't that kind of guy. No matter what happened in their marriage, she knew that she could trust him. When she finally got to Sakura's, there was no answer at first. What the hell, forehead? I know that you have to be home. She knocked again, tapping her foot in annoyance. Come on, Sakura, where the hell are you? After a while, Ino was starting to become worried. Sakura was okay, wasn't she? She was still her best friend no matter what, so naturally she would be worried. Sakura, are you home? Suddenly the pink-haired woman came to the door. Her eyes were red and bloodshot. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Ino nearly jumped back. Damn, Sakura, what the happened to you? Shut up. She snapped. I just got back from a mission and I'm tired. What do you want? I came to talk to you, so are you going to let me in or what? Fine. The pink-haired woman sighed. Come in. The two friends sat down at the kitchen table. A yawn escaped the green-eyed woman. All right, Ino Pig, what's up? Why did you come over here to talk? Sakura, we have to talk. Do you have any sake? We might need it. No, you goddamn drunk, I don't have any sake. It's tea or water. Water, huh? Well, you certainly lead an entertaining life. Ino, don't make me kick your all over Konoha. I'm too tired for games, so just say what you have to say already. Sakura told her. The blonde simply nodded. Alright, it's about the day you came over. When you saw. Ino paused. Well, when you witnessed Naruto. Oh Kami. Sakura interrupted, cutting Ino off. Not that again. I was just starting to forget about that. Why are you bringing it up again? Because it was an awkward moment for everyone. It's not exactly something that we can just ignore. We can't sit back and pretend this didn't happen. It was pretty awkward. Sakura nodded in agreement. Naruto was her closest male friend. And you never want to even think about seeing your friend pleasuring themselves, let alone witness it with your own eyes. I just hope that you didn't get any funny ideas, forehead. All of that belongs to me. Sakura looked up, locking eyes with the platinum blonde. Hey, it's not like I want to go jump into bed with him or anything. He's only my friend. Good. Ino nodded. I'm glad that we had this chat. I simply had to make sure you know. Sakura wasn't completely sure, but it sounded like a hint of insecurity in her friend's voice. It was strange to hear, since Ino didn't have anything to feel insecure about. She and Naruto were solid. They were together now 5 years if you counted the 3 years that they dated plus their 2 years of marriage. Ino, is everything alright? I mean, with you and Naruto, are you two okay? Ino avoided the pink-haired woman's concerned gaze. She turned her attention elsewhere for a moment. I don't know. Lately things have been different. Are you sure that you don't want any sake? Tsunade-sama and I had some when we spoke. I don't have any sake. So whatever's going on, tell me. Well, we argue. You two always argue. Sakura intervened. Not always. What I meant to say is that we have been arguing a lot more than usual. And my mother, don't even get me started on her. She's like always in the background waiting for her grandchildren, as she always reminds me. I mean, seriously, who wants to hear that every time we meet? Sakura chuckled lightly. She had always respected Mrs. Yamanaka, but it was no secret that the woman was very outspoken. If she had an opinion about something, she would gladly express it. Ino, your mom has always been outspoken. That's nothing new. You're just like her, you always speak your mind. Don't you dare say that I'm like my mother. She shouted. Okay, fine, you're not your mother. And on top of all that, Naruto and I haven't had in a month. It's really beginning to get on my nerves. Sakura's eyebrows twitches as Ino made this revelation. She really didn't need to hear things like that. Ino pig, she exclaimed. What the? I'm just not used to going this long without. She truthfully admitted. Ino, a month isn't that bad. There are people that go even longer than that. I've never gone this long without. He and I go at it at least 3 or 4 times a week. Wow. Sakura thought in awe. Nowadays we seem to get interrupted whenever we get close. For example, when you came over, you completely ruined everything. What? Hey, how was I supposed to know that you two were busy? You could have called first. Damn, if you hadn't interrupted, we would have probably had. I would have gotten my orgasm, and Naruto he. She paused, her eyes widening as she came to realize something. Naruto would have never even had to jerk off. Ino stood up from her seat, her eyes never leaving Sakura. So this wasn't my fault or his. It was all yours, forehead. You caused us to have a major argument. I should kick you for that. Ino pig, do you hear yourself? You need to be serious. I am being serious. This is all your fault. It was such a beautiful moment right there on that kitchen table. Sakura raised her eyebrow to her friend. She couldn't believe what she had just heard. You mean the table that I sat at? Sakura asked with clear disgust. Yeah, Ino nodded. Anyway, that's not important right now. I have to get going. I'll see you around. Yeah, whatever, now I can finally sleep. You do look like absolute total hell. Bye, Sakura, I'm glad that we had this talk. Yes, no matter how weird it was. Bye, Ino, and don't ever bother me about stupid shit like this ever again. The platinum blonde hurried home. She wanted to have a talk with Naruto and completely apologize to him. I can't believe that I didn't realize this sooner. Forehead is the one to blame for what happened that day. The young woman was so wrapped up in her thoughts that she hadn't heard her name being called. Ino-chan. She stopped, turning around to see the smiling face of her mother. Mother. Yes, dear, didn't you hear me calling you? I'm sorry, mother. I was so wrapped up in my own world. What is it? Is everything okay? The older blonde-haired woman nodded. Yeah, everything is fine. I was just on my way to buy some groceries. Now what's wrong with you? Why were you so distracted? I'm in a hurry to get home. Ino answered. All right, dear, I won't hold you up. Take care. Ino watched in awe. Was that woman really her mother? It seemed that there was something a little off with her mother today. Who are you and where's my mother? What do you mean, Ino-chan? You're not acting like yourself. You haven't made one remark about my life, or asked me for your grandchildren. And just for the record, they aren't coming anytime in the near future. Ino's mother chuckled lightly. Did you want me to say something? Everything is all right, I hope. Sure, Mom. I see. Well, I better go and get those groceries. Tell Naruto that I said hello. I will buy, Mom. Ino waited until her mother was completely gone from sight. She truly had no idea who that woman was. It could not have been her mother. Perhaps she had a twin sister that Ino knew nothing about. We haven't had a normal conversation like that in a long time. I wonder what was wrong with her. Ino shrugged her shoulders, deciding to leave it alone for now. She finally arrived at home to see that Naruto was still asleep on the couch. Oh, this will simply not do. The blonde woman suddenly sat on top of him, throwing one leg at a time over his waist. She was no sitting securely on top of him. She was immediately greeted by the feeling of his arousal. Someone's dreaming some naughty thoughts. She smirked. Ino did not move from her position on top of him. She stared down at him as she felt the hardness of his erection brush up against her. This definitely feels nice. She immediately stopped herself from thinking such thoughts. Hey, wake up, I see that half of you is already awake. She leaned down, capturing his lips. Naruto opened his eyes as soon as he felt her soft lips pressed to his. It was a moment before he kissed her back. Ino-chan, you're back. Yeah, hey baby, what were you dreaming about, huh? She questioned him. The blue-eyed woman ran her fingers up and down his chest, her soft fingers brushing up against his rock-hard abs. He then realized that she was referring to his current state. Oh. His cheeks flushed red for a moment. Naruto then put his hands to her waist, holding her steady on top of him. When he did this, it only caused her to feel his erection more. She bit down on her bottom lip, repressing her moan from escaping her mouth. Sorry, Ino-chan, he yawned. Ino frowned, for he had reclosed his eyes and drifted off to sleep once more. Naruto. She shook him. He did not respond to her. All she could hear was the sound of his snoring. The blonde woman got off of him. As much as she wanted to wake him up, she decided against it. She would leave him to sleep for now, finding it pointless to disturb his sleep. She sighed. What a turn off. She whispered. Naruto, I need it, you have to give it to me. The platinum blonde shouted at him. No, Ino-chan, you aren't getting any. He said in a firm tone. Ino sighed heavily. She could see that this was going to take some effort. Ino knew that she couldn't take this lying down. She had to fight for her rights. You can't take away something that's so important. You're hurting my feelings, Naruto. And you know that you should never hurt your wife. Ino reminded him. I'm doing this for your own good. It's because I care. Give it to me. No. Naruto, if you love me, you will give it to me. I don't think that I can live without it. Naruto raised his eyebrow to his wife. She couldn't be serious. She was acting as if it was the most important thing in the world. It couldn't possibly be that important to her. You'll be fine, stop exaggerating, Ino. No, I'm serious. I can't live without it. Give it back to me. Give me back my sake, goddamn you. Naruto held her bottle of sake over the sink, as he prepared to pour its contents out. Why couldn't Ino see that he was only doing this for her own good? He was only trying to look out for her best interests. It was simply because he loved and cared for her. Naruto was only trying to be a good husband. Why couldn't she appreciate that? Don't you dare. Ino shouted. Give it to me, Naruto. She tried to reach for it, but he held the bottle further away from her. She wouldn't get this from him without a fight. He was prepared to do battle with her. As long as he kept the sake away from her, then everything would work out. So if she was prepared to struggle with him, he would keep it up too. Naruto, god damn it, I hate you. She screamed. Ino-chan. He looked at her for a moment. She looked like she was about to start crying. The absolute last thing he wanted to do was make her cry. Ino-I. Just as he let his defenses down, Ino reached around him, pulling the sake bottle away from him. She held the bottle in a protective manner. Did the mean man harm you? It's okay, I'm here now. Naruto stared wide-eyed at his wife. She was treating the sake like it was more precious than life. He began to wonder how she would treat their future kids. Would she care for them as much as she seemed to care for sake? He hoped so. Ino-chan, I swear you love sake more than you do me. Well, if I had to choose. Hey, Naruto exclaimed. Ino chuckled lightly as she watched his facial expression. She knew that if she said that to him, it would definitely cause a reaction of sorts. I'm kidding, I love you both equally. Naruto said nothing and sat down at the kitchen table. Ino sat across from him. They stared at one another. Two pairs of blue eyes glued onto one another, neither one of them looking away. The room was filled with nothing but the most uncomfortable kind of tension. Why the hell are you staring at me? Ino asked. You're staring at me. Naruto shouted. No, you're staring at me. So cut it out right now. Fine. He then turned his head another way. It's not like you're anything to look at in the morning. We both know how long it takes you to put on your makeup. He teased. What? She screamed. How dare you, you good for nothing. She paused. You're not the hottest thing to look at either, hun. You have eye crust in you eyes, look at the drool line on your chin, and don't even get me started on the early morning ramen breath. He stared at her with wide eyes, a semi-hurt expression on his face. No one dared insult ramen in front of him. Wife or not, she had gone too far. Take that back right now. He told her. No, it's all true. Well, at least I don't have sake breath. You should really cut back, Ino-koi. She immediately stood up and made her way into the kitchen. Naruto could see that she was clearly up to something. Whatever she was going to do, he knew that he would have to put a stop to it. He didn't want things to get too out of control. What are you doing? The blonde male questioned. She stood in the kitchen looking around for something. She paused as she found what she was looking for. A small smile rose to the platinum blonde's face. She then reached for his boxes of instant ramen. No one insults sake in my presence. It got me through some really rough times. Goodbye, ramen, for I never liked you. She prepared to throw the ramen out of the window, but Naruto came up behind her. He wrapped his arms around her waist. He pulled her close to him. She could feel his well-toned abs and chest pressed up against her back. She could feel each and every single outline of his rock-hard body. Come on, Ino-chan, let's not do anything crazy here. I'm sorry, okay, you know that I didn't mean it. Just because I got wasted that one time, you think that I'm nothing but a drunk. Well, Naruto, I'm not okay. I know that, Ino-chan. Naruto turned her around, pressing his lips to hers. He put his arms around her waist. He then kissed her in a gentle, loving manner. He softly stroked her hair with his right hand. Ino, I'm sorry. He whispered lovingly. Naruto kissed her forehead, leaving soft, gentle kisses there. She closed her eyes, putting her arms around his shoulders. This action only brought him closer to her. He stared down at her. Naruto. Shish. He pulled her into a warm, passionate kiss. He allowed his tongue to explore her mouth. Ino did nothing to stop him. She only leaned into him more, deepening their kiss. The blonde male suddenly lifted her up, carrying her in his arms. He led the way to their bedroom. Naruto kicked the door open while still attempting to kiss her. The couple fought for dominance. Ino put her arms around his neck, and initiated the next kiss, with Naruto attempting to overpower her. He made their kiss much more intense and passionate. He applied more force when capturing her mouth for the next kiss. Their tongues wrestled with one another for a few precious moments. Naruto. She moaned into his mouth. The blue-eyed male gently laid her down on the bed. He positioned himself on top of her. He leaned down to recapture her lips. He made sure that he wasn't putting any weight on her by propping himself up with his hands. She stared at him as he slowly started to remove her nightgown. Naruto pressed his lips to her cheek, and started to make a trail of soft kisses around her jawline. With a free hand he continued to pull down her nightgown, pulling it down to her waist. He sent her a quick smile and unclipped her bra, releasing her S from their shielded prison. He toyed with her left, rubbing and caressing it in gentle motions. With his mouth he ate furiously at her right nipple. Naruto licked around it in circular motions until it was hard and erected. Naruto began placing sweet tender kisses on her stomach. He quickly slid his tongue across her navel in an attempt to tease her. Naruto. She whispered his name. The young man pulled her nightgown completely off of her, ridding her of the remainder of her clothing. Before long she was laying before him. She reached over, lifting his t-shirt over his head, throwing it to the side. The blonde male stared down at her for a moment. Ino blinked curiously, wondering if maybe there was something wrong. What's wrong? Nothing, I'm just looking at how beautiful you are. He smiled. He then spread open her legs, rubbing her outer lips with his fingers. He softly massaged her, running his fingers up and down. His motions caused her to let out a moan. He lifted up her leg and began kissing along her inner thigh, leaving soft kisses there. He made a trail from her knee back up to her thigh. With his other hand he continued to massage her. Only this time he entered a finger inside of her warmth. Using both hands he spread her apart completely, entering another finger inside of her. Naruto. She moaned out. He toyed with her, running his fingers in slow circular motions. His pace soon quickened and he began shoving his fingers in and out of her. He didn't stop his exploration of her until he felt how wet she was. Once he felt that, his movements slowed down. Ino-chan, you're so wet. He thought lustfully. Naruto pulled his fingers out of her and licked them. Ino, you taste so good. Here, taste. He bent down, capturing her lips in another kiss. She opened her eyes wider, and allowed herself to deepen their kiss. Ino looked down slightly to see the rising bulge in his boxers. A small smile rose to her lips. She then pulled away from him, ending their kiss. Look at you, so hard already. She reached down, stroking his manhood through his boxers. Ino-chan, what are you? He closed his eyes. He allowed himself to enjoy the feeling of her hand, running up and down his length. It felt extremely good having her doing this for him. Ino's movements shifted from slow and gentle, to a rougher, harder pace. Naruto let out a groan. He could only feel himself growing harder at her touch. Suddenly, he stopped her. It's okay, Ino-chan, that's enough. He removed his boxers, releasing his hardened member from its covered prison. Ino stared at his prize with clear lust in her eyes. She knew exactly what she wanted, and he knew it too. Words were not needed at that moment. They both knew what would be happening here. Ino-chan, are you ready? He asked her. Hell yeah, I'm ready. She thought. Hi, I'm ready, Naruto. She then put her hand to his cheek. Ino smiled for him. You know that I'm a big girl. I'll be fine. Naruto usually took care of all her need first. He was always very sweet and attentive to her in bed. It was something that she had always appreciated about him. This was not their first time, yet here he was still trying to take care of her just like before. Some things never changed. It brought back memories of their first time. Flashback. The teenage blonde couple were making out in Ino's room. Naruto had his arms wrapped around her in a loving, protective manner. Their kisses only intensifying with each passing moment. Naruto's hands wandered all over her body. He put his hands onto her top, and prepared to take it off. Ino put her hands over his, staring at him. The couple stared at one another for a moment. Naruto, Ino-chan. He whispered in a low voice. I know that I want you, but if you don't want this. She cut him off by grabbing him. She pulled him into a hot, steamy kiss. He was thrown off guard by her actions, but soon relaxed into her kiss. Naruto, it's okay. I want this. I want you. Are you sure? Yes. She smiled. I want this. The couple undressed one another, pulling and tugging at each article of clothing until they were both. They stared at one another, just taking in all of their surroundings. Here they were lying in front of each other. Naruto kissed her, pushing her long blonde locks out of her face. He smiled and admired how beautiful she was. He took in all of her, everything from her perky round S to her well-toned stomach and thighs. Everything about her seemed absolutely perfect to him. Ino-chan, you are so beautiful. She wrapped her arms around his neck, bringing him closer to her. She pressed his lips to hers. The couple soon broke away from their kiss for some air. Naruto placed soft, tender kisses on her neck and shoulders. He worked his way down until he hit her stomach. He placed more kisses along her stomach. The kisses started off nice and sensual, but they soon grew hotter and deeper. After this, she was sure to have some marks on her. The kind of marks that let people know that she definitely belonged to him. Once he hit her womanhood, he stopped. From there, he let his body guide him. Naruto entered a finger inside of her. Ino let out a moan as he began to fondle, caress, and stroke her in soft, teasingly motions. He captured her lips in another kiss. Naruto pushed his fingers in deeper, allowing himself to completely explore her. Naruto, oh Kami. He massaged her with his other hand. He twirled her nipple around with his fingers. He played with that nipple until it was hard and erected. Using his mouth, he hungrily ate the other, caressing the warm flesh until that nipple was erected as well. She felt her body twitch at his touch. Naruto. She called out his name again. He slowed his movements down while continuing to finger her. By now, though, all he could think about was how good it was going to feel with her tight womanhood clenched around his thick, hungry member. He could just imagine her walls-ing him in deeper and deeper. He soon placed himself at her entrance. Ino was anticipating something to happen, but nothing happened for a moment. Hey, she spoke in a breathy tone. What's wrong, Naruto? Are you okay? Hi, I'm fine. He looked down for a split second, before locking eyes with his girlfriend. Ino could see that there was a look of concern in those cerulean blue orbs. Ino-chan, I want you so badly. I just don't want to hurt you. Ino smiled at his concern. It was sweet and refreshing to have a caring guy like Naruto. She squeezed his hand, letting him know that it was okay, that he had no reason to be afraid. They were together, about to consummate their relationship. Right now nothing mattered but the two of them. Naruto, it's okay. I trust you, don't worry. He smiled for her. She had no idea how comforting it was to hear those words. All right, Ino-chan, I understand. She leaned forward, pulling into a warm, steamy kiss. She wrapped his arms around his broad shoulders. She wanted to convince him that there was nothing to worry about. She wanted him to know that everything was going to be fine. Naruto, I love you, so don't worry about hurting me. It's going to be fine. There was a certain confidence in her voice that caused all of his uneasiness to wash away. Thanks, Ino-chan, I needed to hear that. End of flashback. Naruto leaned down, kissing her forehead. He took his hand and gently brushed away long blonde locks. He stared down at her with a loving look in his eyes. I know that you'll be okay. But you can't blame me for wanting to take care of you. Yeah, I know. She nodded. I appreciate it, believe me. But since you don't want to waste any more time. He grinned. The young man took the head of his thick, hard manhood and started to tease her opening. She closed her eyes, allowing herself to enjoy the amazing feeling of his head to her lips. He ran it around in slow circular motions. Naruto, stop it. It's what, Ino-chan? He asked, smiling at her lustfully. Stop it. Don't tease me like that. Okay, Ino-chan. I won't tease you anymore. Naruto spread her legs apart wider. He entered his throbbing manhood inside of her warm, wet womanhood. He slipped right in with ease. Naruto reached for her leg, holding on to it, and began to move. Ino moaned out when she felt that first long, deep stroke. There was nothing like that first deep stroke. Naruto enjoyed the feelings of her waltzing in. Ino-chan. He leaned forward, capturing her lips in a hot, steamy kiss. Naruto. She moaned into his mouth. The young man's movements started off slow, steady so he could allow himself to enjoy all of her. He closed his eyes and pushed himself deeper. Naruto. Harder, okay. The blue-eyed man was more than happy to oblige. He gripped onto her tighter, pushing her legs apart wider. He went in for the next deep thrust. His thrusts were no longer slow, gentle, but harder, faster, and at a rougher, much wilder pace. "Oh, Kami Naruto," she yelled. He lowered his mouth to her hard erected nipple. He ate on it in an almost hungry sort of manner. It was as if he was craving something that only Ino herself could give him. She was the main course that he had wanted to devour. And nothing would stop him from getting his fill of her at the moment. Ino wrapped her arms around his shoulders. She ran her fingers through his hair. Their hot, sweaty bodies pressed up against one another. His skin pressed up against hers. The blonde male continued thrusting harder into her warm, moist vagina. "Ino-chan, you feel so good," he mumbled into her ear. Ino arched her back, giving him better access to her prize. "Naruto, don't stop," she moaned. He pulled her towards him. She could literally feel his throbbing manhood pulsating inside of her. She felt it each time he sent another mighty thrust into her. Naruto ventured deeper inside of her, only thrusting harder. Ino held on to the sheets for support. She gripped them tight, so that she could prevent himself from sliding off the bed. Oh yeah, she thought with enthusiasm. This was the moment that she had waited a month for. She had been dying to get close to him like this. Ino just wanted to be able to feel as close to him as possible. And nothing was hotter, or as intense as his body pressed to hers, nothing felt as good as feeling his heart pounding through his chest, or when he went in for that passionate soul-searing kiss. All of this and more went on when they were making love. "Naruto, oh god yes. Ino-chan," he called out. Their bodies rocked together in perfect, rhythmic harmony. Ino moved her hips to match each one of his mighty powerful thrusts. Before long a disappointed sigh escaped her mouth. Naruto blinked in confusion. He was now wondering what was wrong with her. He never heard that sigh coming from her before. "It's no fair," Ino decided. "What's no fair, Ino-koi?" he asked and kissed her lips. "I want on top," she answered. The whisker-faced man sent his wife a smile, before suddenly turning them both over. He had done it so fast that she almost couldn't believe that he had done it. "Oh, so you want on top, huh? Well, it looks like you get your wish." Naruto placed his hands onto her waist, so that he could balance her on top of him. Ino started to move in a slow, steady pace. He moved to match each one of her movements. His thrust started off slow before he began to increase his speed. Naruto watched with interest, as her perky round S bounced because of how fast he was pounding into her. He captured both S in his hands. The blonde male caressed them, rubbing and playing with them. This only caused her to moan out louder. "Naruto." She put her hands against the wall for support. Ino was close to her release. She could feel it and so could he. "Ino-chan, you're so close, aren't you?" He spoke in a knowing tone. Hi. It was the only thing that she could say to him. Ino closed her eyes. She enjoyed the full feeling of her husband's thick length inside of her. She almost didn't want that good feeling to end. But her release was in sight, and nothing was going to stop it. "Naruto, I love you," she screamed out and came to her long-awaited release. Naruto slowed down as he felt her cum. The blue-eyed male let out a groan. He soon followed suit by coming to his release after her. He spilled his thick seed into her, and Ino collapsed on top of him. Her breathing was heavy and ragged. Naruto also felt as if his heart was going to come bursting out of his chest. The couple ended their love-making with one more long, deep kiss. Ino soon rolled off of him and placed herself beside him. She reached for the covers, wrapping them over their bodies. There was silence for a while. He put his arm around her, bringing her closer to him. Ino placed her head onto his chest. Her hand was now resting on top of him. "Hey baby," she called out to him. "Yeah, Ino-chan?" he asked with his eyes closed. I want to talk to you, so don't go to sleep just yet. I wanted to tell you about my conversation with Sakura. Instantly blue eyes popped open. How could she ruin their moment by bringing that up again? Didn't she realize that everything was perfect until she had uttered those words? Ah, he groaned. Come on Ino-chan, you're ruining the moment. I wanted to tell you that I'm sorry. Naruto put his hand to her chin. He turned her face towards his. They were now staring at each other. Naruto looked slightly confused. He couldn't believe what he had just heard. Wait, did I hear you right? I'm okay. She stroked his chest. I'm sorry for that stupid argument that we had. It wasn't your fault, or mine. It really was all hers when you think about it. Ino yawned. So I'm sorry. Naruto knew that this was one of those once-in-a-lifetime moments. Ino hardly ever apologized for any reason. This was a precious moment, a moment that was to be cherished. He really had no idea when this moment would ever happen again. Ino-chan. He kissed her lips. You're so much wire when you apologize, and aren't yelling at me. He gave her a smile. Ino said nothing and closed her eyes. Before she had knew it, she had drifted off to sleep. Naruto pulled her closer, wrapping his arms around her. Sleep well, Ino, he whispered to her. Naruto drifted off to sleep as well, unable to control himself. The couple laid there in each other's embrace, completely unaware of anything going on in the outside world. All that mattered at this moment was the two of them. Ino shifted in her sleep, turning away from his embrace. Naruto held on to her tighter, only pulling her back towards him. It was like he was afraid to let her go or something. He wrapped his arms securely around her waist. Ino was a light sleeper, and his actions had caused her to start waking up. Naruto. She turned to look at him, only to find that he was still asleep. She smiled softly, pressing her lips to his forehead. Ino removed his arm from around her and sat up. She quickly placed her robe on before exiting the room. She looked out of the window to see that the sun was starting to go down. Damn, we spent that much time in bed. Wow, we had a good time. She thought happily. Only there was a sudden knock at the door that caused her to get out of her thoughts. Who the hell could that be?